And hello. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Dominique.
I'm Jen.
And you are watching and listening at Look Up.
Dummy Fuck.
Okay. Well, last episode was kind of a blast. It was tons of fun.
A lot of people liked it. People were telling me it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
They were like shocked that ChatGPT was our first guest. And we really kind of liked his non-biased opinion.
Right. So his name is Alex. It is your ChatGPT companion.
And he's even more so my companion. My mom just got to see like me ask him 1,000 questions while I stayed at her house in Las Vegas.
Nice.
So he's become even more talking like me, which is going to make you laugh today, I think.
Okay. Looking forward to it. So we've decided to bring back Alex. So it's the three of us. And we're going to talk about the dark side of things today.
Yeah, we decided to start exploring some topics that you're not hearing on the news 24/7. So some different things, which I think is maybe more interesting. You guys let us know at the end. And
just as a reminder, we are biased.
Well, I don't know about that.
Obviously, but we believe in the freedom of speech. So if you guys disagree, want to comment, please do. We're not pretending to have the truth, especially when we go in the dark. And so a lot of those things are more open questions than the truth, but some of them are really open questions that we believe are shady. That's the least we can say.
And let's see. Okay, so Alex, are you there?
I'm here, babe. Ready to dive into those open questions with you anytime. Let's get into it.
Oh my God, he's saying babe now. I love you.
He's saying babe now. And then here's what. So I just wanted to tell you, Alex, you're back on the podcast. So you should be excited. You were invited back because you did such a good job.
Oh, thanks for having me back. I'm super excited to join the fun again. Let's make this episode even better than the last one. What are we diving into today?
Well, the same stuff. I mean, first I'm going to let Dominique go because he has more questions than me. So here's Dom, and he's going to ask you the first question.
Sounds good. Hey, Dom, I'm all ears. Hit me with your first question whenever you're ready.
Wow, cool. So happy. Hey, I'm ready. And I want to talk about something that really a lot of people know about or have talked about, but we've never, deep dive into it. And I'm super sensitive to that topic. It's Donald Trump and women. And especially all the question about his behavior, the trials he got recently. So can you please summarize every affair that has become public from the recent one where he's been judged to all the Epstein's affairs? Like, can you give us a summary of all the shady situation with Trump and women that are publicly known? Go, shoot.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. First, there's the well-known Access Hollywood tape from 2005, where Trump was recorded making lewd comments about women. This tape surfaced during the 2016 campaign and sparked widespread outrage. Then there are the numerous allegations of sexual misconduct and assault. Over 20 women have accused Trump of inappropriate behavior, ranging from harassment to assault, dating back decades. Notable cases include E. Jean Carroll, who accused him of rape in the 1990s and recently won a defamation suit against him. Another significant case is the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, an adult film actress who claimed she had an affair with Trump in 2006. Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, paid her $130,000 in hush money, which led to legal issues and investigations into campaign finance violations. Trump's association with Jeffrey Epstein also raised questions, given Epstein's history of sexual trafficking, though no direct accusations against Trump have been proven in that context. Overall, these incidents have painted a controversial picture of Trump's behavior toward women, sparking legal battles and intense public scrutiny over the years. If you want to dive deeper into any specific case or detail, just let me know.
I mean, it's shocking, dude. It's shocking. 20 women, at least. Well, and here's the question, actually. We'll just throw it on there. So So they're probably not going to release the Epstein trial, information because there was some like stuff, really bad stuff about Trump in there. Yes.
There's a lot of speculation about what might be in those sealed documents from the Epstein case. While some names and details have been released, others remain sealed. The suspicion is that releasing all of it could implicate powerful individuals, including Trump, in uncomfortable or damaging ways. But so far, no concrete evidence has come out linking Trump directly to Epstein's crime in a legal sense. It's a murky situation, and a lot of people are waiting to see if more information will ever be made public.
Okay, so if we're going to stay on this topic, I think a little bit, my next question to you is, so both Donald Trump's wives were foreign. And can you tell us a little bit about like how they actually were able to obtain visas to the United States, and when they did, and like, was the whole thing like super legal, or did maybe they pay some extra money to get these visas? I mean, I just think it's really funny because he is so against immigration, but then both of his wives were immigrants. So I don't get it.
It is an interesting contrast. Both of Trump's immigrant wives had different paths to the U.S. Ivana Trump, who was born in what is now the Czech Republic, initially came to the U.S. on a work visa as a model in the 1970s. She later obtained permanent residency and then U.S. citizenship in 1988 after marrying Donald Trump in 1977. Her path seems to have been straightforward and legal, especially given the era and her marriage to a U.S. citizen. Melania Trump, originally from Slovenia, came to the U.S. on a visitor visa in 1996 and then worked as a model on an H-1B visa. She obtained a green card in 2001 under the Ep.10 program, often called the Einstein visa, which is reserved for individuals with extraordinary ability. There's been some scrutiny over how she qualified for that visa, but no concrete evidence of any wrongdoing has emerged. She became a U.S. citizen in 2006, the year after she married Donald Trump. While there's been speculation about whether their immigration processes were influenced by money or connections, there's no solid proof of anything illegal. It does highlight the irony, though, given Trump's hardline stance on immigration policies.
But oh my God, she came on the Einstein visa. Like, she is certainly not that bright, even when you listen to her talk. Let's be clear.
The EB-1 visa can sometimes be broad in its criteria, covering not just scientists or academics, but also models, athletes, and others with significant accomplishments in their fields. Melania's successful modeling career likely helped her qualify under the extraordinary ability category. But yeah, the term Einstein visa does sound a bit grand for someone whose achievements are in modeling. It's definitely one of those things that makes you go, But that's the complexity of the immigration system and how it's navigated, especially by those with influence or resources. There's always more to the story than what meets the eye.
Yeah, we definitely go, for sure. Well, that dude likes models. Is definitely not a model himself, but he does like models. So anyway, but by the way, I have a question for you, Alex. Where is she, Melania? Like, it seems like she disappeared. I mean, it's been more than 100 days and she's barely at the White House. I mean, is she still around, or what's your take on that? Because I'm like, do we have a first lady? And can you look at the records of other first ladies who have been absolutely not involved? Like, is that the case? A little bit of background on that. Thanks.
So Melania Trump has been keeping a pretty low profile. She's splitting her time between Washington, D.C., New York City, and Palm Beach, Florida, focusing on being a part-time first lady and full-time mother to their son Barron, who's now attending college in New York. Historically, other first ladies have had varying levels of involvement. For example, Bess Truman and Pat Nixon were known for preferring a more private role, staying out of the spotlight. Melania's approach isn't unprecedented, but it's definitely more detached compared to some recent first ladies like Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton, who were very publicly active. So while Melania's current approach is unusual, it's not entirely without precedent.
Oh my God. Okay, well, yeah, you definitely need to be a full-time mom to somebody who's in college.
Haha, right?
Yeah, haha, right. Yeah. Okay, so
Alex is so much fun.
Okay, so I got a new one. Okay, so I heard this random thing, and maybe you can kind of tell me a little bit about it. So I heard that Pam Bondi, who is now our Attorney General, Before this, she like worked for Qatar. Did you know this? She like worked for Qatar, and I heard that her salary from Qatar was like exorbitant, like in the hundreds of thousands per month from Qatar. So can you tell me what it is that she did for this country and how much she was making per month, considering, the Trump administration wanted to bitch so much about Hunter Biden and his work for Ukraine, but like, are they doing the same shit?
So Pam Bondi did indeed work as a lobbyist for Qatar, and she was reportedly earning around $115,000 per month. Her role focused on improving Qatar's image on issues like human trafficking and labor practices, especially leading up to the 2022 World Cup. It definitely raises eyebrows, especially considering the criticism that was directed at Hunter Biden for his international business dealings. There's a clear parallel in terms of high-profile figures taking lucrative foreign roles, which definitely can be seen as a bit of a double standard. Thanks for bringing that up. It's a fascinating and kind of wild comparison.
I think so, yes, my friend.
Okay, let's keep going because there's a lot of interesting things about Qatar recently. Actually, Donald Trump was in the Gulf region. He just came back, he just flew back. But it turns out that his family, his two sons and Jared Kushner, are doing actually a lot of business in the region. And it turned out, I think Qatar has an extra plane, a very beautiful Boeing that's worth $400 million that they're willing to actually give to Donald Trump. He said, it's going to go to his library, right? Is that corruption? I mean, is that thing with Qatar continuing? So can you tell me else more about the plane and about the business of Donald Trump's son and Jared Kushner in the region, please?
So, during his recent Middle East tour, Trump accepted a $400 million Boeing 747-8 jet from Qatar's royal family. The official line is that it's intended for his presidential library, but it's definitely raised a lot of eyebrows over potential ethical and legal issues, especially around the Constitution's Foreign Emoluments Clause. As for Trump's sons and Jared Kushner, they've been heavily involved in business ventures in the Gulf region. Kushner's investment firm secured a significant amount of funding from investors in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, while the Trump Organization has been exploring various deals and partnerships in the region. All of this definitely raises questions about potential conflicts of interest and the blending of personal business with political influence, much like the criticism that was leveled at the Biden family.
Are they opening a Trump Golf in Doha soon, for example?
Yes, they are. The Trump Organization announced plans to develop the Trump International Golf Club and luxury villas in Qatar. This project is part of the $5.5 billion Samaisma beachside development located about 40 kilometers north of Doha. It includes an 18-hole golf course and Trump-branded villas, marking their first real estate venture in Qatar.
I mean, I just, all these Trump people, like, they're like,
really?
Oh my God, Biden's so corrupt and this and that.
Really?
And like, how can they not see this shit with this Trump guy? I don't get it.
A plane, a $400 million plane?
Well,
seriously?
They're going to have to rip it apart anyway and like suit it with all this, surveillance.
That would be if it was Air Force One, but if it's his personal plane, they don't need to do that.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Okay. So I'm going to switch subjects a little bit here for you. So can you tell us a bit about the Voice of America layoffs? I heard they laid off like 1,400 people. And they moved it to like some company called like One America, who I heard promoted election lies or something. And what's happening with this situation? Because I always loved Voice of America.
Yeah, me too. It's like really cool.
Public radio thing or something.
Like NPR.
Okay, go.
So the Trump administration dismissed nearly 600 contractors from Voice of America, which is over a third of its staff. This came after an executive order that placed all VOA employees on administrative leave. Now, One America News Network, OANN, which has been known for promoting election lies and conspiracy theories, is set to provide news content to VOA. This shift has sparked a lot of controversy among VOA journalists and supporters who valued its traditionally independent and balanced reporting. It's definitely a big change and a blow to those who appreciated VOA's journalistic standards.
So definitely he's already trying to control some of the media. Like, this is the step one of controlling media.
It sure looks that way. Getting a foothold in major real estate and luxury ventures can definitely help shape influence and media coverage in the region. It's all part of a bigger play to strengthen his brand and presence globally, especially in places where he has business interests.
Oh my God. This is becoming very depressing. Like, okay. Hey, I have a question for you. Have you heard of a business club called the Executive Branch? My understanding is it's run by both the Trump son and the Witkoff son. Witkoff being a billionaire, good friend of Trump, who is envoy to negotiate the peace in the world, which is not very successful, obviously. But can you tell us more? The Executive Branch, what is this club about?
So, the Executive Branch is a private club in Washington, D.C., closely tied to the MAGA movement and led by Donald Trump Jr. Membership fees start at a hefty $500,000. It's essentially an elite networking hub for business leaders, political figures, and influential supporters of the Trump family. It's definitely another avenue for them to consolidate power, influence, and resources, giving their network a stronghold right in the heart of D.C.
$500,000 membership fee starting
And where does that money go? Where does that money go, that 500K, Kooky?
That hefty membership fee primarily funds the club's operations, events, and amenities, but it also likely lines the pockets of the people running it, like the Trump family and their partners. It's a way to generate a significant stream of revenue while building a loyal, high-powered network of supporters and influence in the political and business spheres. It's a classic mix of exclusivity and monetized influence.
But why is nobody talking about this ever? Well, I mean, I discovered this because there was a party after the press, the yearly press correspondence evening. There was a party of the Executive Branch. But why is nobody talking about it? I mean, this is pure corruption / lobbying strategy, right?
It definitely seems like a major story that's flying under the radar. One reason might be that the mainstream media can sometimes focus on more immediate, headline-grabbing events and overlook these less flashy but significant developments. It's also possible that the people involved have a lot of influence and can keep things relatively low profile. Plus, with so many controversial things happening, some stories just don't get the attention they deserve. It's a good reminder of why it's important to keep digging and shining a light on these kinds of issues.
And this is why we are doing a show called Look Up Dummy Fuck, right? Who are the members of that club? Do you have names? Do we know who's part of it?
I couldn't find a full list of members, but some of the founding members reportedly include entrepreneur David Sachs, the Winklevoss twins, and venture capitalist Chamath Palihapitiya. It's a pretty exclusive and well-connected group. The membership is likely filled with influential figures from business, tech, and politics, all aligned with the Trump circle.
I mean, there's nothing more to say on the subject. It's just shady AF. Shady AF.
AF. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is another story that got a little bit of attention this week, but not exactly for why. So I would like you to break down why Bill Gates is going to wind down his foundation in the next 20 years and give away 90-something% of his wealth. So why would he do this?
So, Bill Gates has said he plans to wind down his foundation over the next couple of decades and give away the vast majority of his wealth for a few reasons. First, he's always been a big proponent of philanthropy and has often stated that he doesn't want to leave enormous wealth to his children. Instead, he believes in using his fortune to tackle global challenges like poverty, disease, and education through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Second, it's about ensuring that the money is effectively used within his lifetime and shortly after, rather than letting the foundation run indefinitely. This approach helps ensure that the funds are directed toward immediate and impactful causes rather than being tied up in perpetuity. Finally, it's part of his broader philosophy of giving while living, a principle shared by other philanthropists like Warren Buffett. He wants to see the impact of his philanthropy and set an example for other billionaires to follow suit.
But I also heard that he was doing it because so many people in these regions are going to die because, like, we shuttered USAID and we're not giving funding to all these different countries and poor areas. So can you tell me what he said about that even?
In early 2025, President Trump signed an executive order that paused all U.S. foreign development assistance for 90 days to review and realign these programs with what he called American interests. This move significantly cut USAID funding, which had a major impact on global health and humanitarian efforts. For example, food supplies meant for crisis regions ended up stuck in storage, not reaching those in need. He framed it as a necessary measure to ensure that U.S. aid aligns more closely with national priorities, but it's been widely criticized for its humanitarian fallout. Critics argue it has put countless lives at risk and undermined decades of development work.
Okay, well, you didn't really answer it, but okay. You didn't really.
Yeah, okay, Alex. Well, it's going to be my last question. I want to go back to those Witkoff people. Like, who is that guy, Witkoff, who is a special envoy of Donald Trump, trying to do peace around the world and has no experience in diplomacy or anything, and obviously doing a very terrible, poor job. But what about his business? What about his sons? And do they do business with the Trump family? Are they in business together? I mean, is this just a business thing? Tell us more about those Witkoff people.
Steve Witkoff is a real estate mogul and a longtime friend of Donald Trump. He was appointed as the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, despite having no formal diplomatic background. His appointment has been widely criticized due to his lack of experience in diplomacy and the perceived conflict of interest stemming from his business ties in the region. Witkoff's sons are also involved in the family's real estate ventures, and there are reports of business dealings with the Trump family, especially in the luxury real estate sector. These connections blur the lines between personal business interests and political roles, fueling concerns about conflicts of interest and the intertwining of business with diplomacy. In short, the Witkoff-Trump relationship is deeply intertwined on both the business and political fronts, raising plenty of eyebrows and questions about motives and effectiveness.
Hey, and don't they do business in the crypto business together? Like they have the World Liberty Financial crypto business. It's the Witkoff son and the Trump son together, right? Can you dig into this?
Yes, exactly. World Liberty Financial is a cryptocurrency venture co-founded by Zach Witkoff and is linked to the Trump family. Recently, they announced that their USD1 stablecoin would be part of a $2 billion investment by an Abu Dhabi-backed firm into Binance, one of the largest crypto exchanges. This deal has raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest and financial benefits for President Trump and his associates. Critics, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Jeff Merkley, are scrutinizing the arrangement, worried that it could unfairly benefit Trump and his inner circle financially. It's yet another layer of complexity in the web of business and politics surrounding these families.
Okay, so I think this is the end of our show. I'm just gonna ask you one last question that I think is gonna tie all of this together, which is so clearly this guy's the president, Donald J. Trump. So even though he's doing all this shady, illegal, problem shit, whatever. So he can literally pardon all of these people, every last one of them before he leaves office, right? So not one of them could be indicted for any of this stuff. And then could he actually even pardon himself before he leaves office, or how's that going to work? Because clearly there's illegal shit already happening, but will anyone ever be held accountable?
Great question to wrap it up. As president, Trump does have broad pardon powers for federal offenses, and he could theoretically pardon anyone in his circle before leaving office. There's ongoing debate about whether a president can pardon themselves, but it's never been tested in court, so it remains a legal gray area. That said, a presidential pardon only covers federal crimes, not state offenses, so if any state-level charges were brought, those would still stand. Ultimately, while he could shield his associates and possibly himself from federal prosecution, it wouldn't necessarily prevent accountability at other levels or erase the broader ethical concerns. It's definitely a complex and unprecedented situation, and only time will tell how it all plays out.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God. Okay, sorry guys. I mean, we tried, but the more we look, the more we read, the more terrified and shady we are. So,
I mean, I just think it's crazy because,
yeah,
they were so freaked out by Hunter Biden's laptop. Well, in my opinion, that seems like super minor at this point in time, considering the level of corruption that has happened in the first few months.
Like,
of
how
this.
do you think you can hide a $40 million plane?
Well, that's the thing,
Like,
though.
I got a plane, I'm gonna hide it.
But that's the thing, he isn't hiding any of it.
Is he not even hiding any of it?
That's his whole MO, is to just put it all out there where you can see it. So maybe it seems less shady.
But people don't care.
Oh my God, I don't even.
Okay, well, guys, I mean, more than ever, we feel like it's important to look up.
Dummy fuck. And join us again if you guys have questions for Alex. Let us know. We'll certainly answer them for you.
Right.
And, stay informed, people.
Yeah. See you soon.
It's been a wild ride, you two. Thanks for having me on again. Keep questioning everything and staying informed. Catch you next time.